Hey everyone, Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. We got a lot to cover as always, but before we get into that, we got to shout out the patron. So, Daniel Marsh, thank you very much for your support over on Patreon. And as always, analytics are very important, so please don't forget to drop a like and a comment so that way the video can help get to a larger audience and you can feel the algorithm. And also, if this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that way you'll never miss another upload from the channel. And if you like Pokemon content like this, please consider heading over to my Spotify so that way you can get exclusive access to a series that I have only over there, which is currently What If Paul Challenged the Cowless League. And also, if you want to support the channel even further, please consider becoming a channel member or a patron. You get exclusive access to content that I don't put on the main channel and early access to everything I do, like what you see here on screen. However, I yammered on long enough. So with all that being said, let's get into the reason why we're here. What if Ash won the Pokemon World Championships, the XYZ Journeys Part 3? I hope you enjoy. The sleek silver transport hums as it touches down on the landing pad just outside the Tower of Mastery, its engines roaring with a gradual stop. The hatch slides open with a hiss, and Horace steps out. His usual composed demeanor softens as his eyes lands on Go. A grin spreads across Go's face, and he rushes forward, meeting Horace halfway in a quick, tight hug. Took you long enough, Go teases, pulling back. Horace adjusts, smirking. Blame the pilot. He insisted on the scenic route. Ash and Chloe watch the reunion with warm smiles, but the moment is bittersweet. Go turns to them, his expression shifting, determined yet reluctant. Well, this is it, he says, rubbing the back of his neck. Chloe steps forward, her fingers twisting a strap of her bag. Are you sure you don't want me to come with you, she asks, her voice gentle but insistent. It might help to have a friend there. Go shakes his head, offering her a reassuring smile. Nah, I'll be fine. Horace is here. He jerks a thumb towards his companion, who nods firmly in agreement. Besides, Ash needs you more. Ash blinks, then glances over his shoulder where Karina stands, arms crossed, foot tapping impatiently. Yeah, Ash admits with an awkward chuckle. Karina's not exactly the wait around type. As if on cue, Karina calls out, Are you two done with the goodbyes? The sun's not gonna wait for us. She gestures wildly towards the horizon, where the sky is painted with streaks of orange and pink. Go laughs, then sobers, looking at Ash and Chloe one last time. Take care of each other, okay? You too, Chloe says softly. Ash gives a thumbs up. We'll catch you soon, alright, Go? With a final wave, their friend turns and boards the transport, Horace right behind him. The hatch seals shut, and the engines roar to life, sending a gust of wind whipping around Ash and Chloe as they watch the craft lift into the sky. For a moment, they just stand there, the weight of the farewell settling between the two of them. Then Karina claps her hands. Alright, lovebirds, enough staring at the sky. If you want that Lucario night, we gotta catch a boat. She then jerks her head towards the northern docks, already marching off without waiting for a response. Ash and Chloe exchange a glance, then nod in unison. With one last look at the shrinking speck of Go's transport, they turn to hurry after Karina, the Tower of Mastery casting long shadows behind them as the day slips further into dusk. With Ash looking towards capturing a new level of power, we shift over to the transport that is now en route to its destination. Inside, Go and Horace are mid-conversation. It's been too long, Horace says with a grin. Feels like just yesterday we were battling it out with Team Rocket and Johto, but a lot's changed since then. He then shoves his hands in his pockets, his expression turning thoughtful. I've been working with Lance, helping with some high-profile investigations. Let's just say I've seen things. Go's eyes widen, and he shakes his head in disbelief before a competitive spark ignites in his gaze. Well, I haven't been sitting around either. My research with Project Mu has been intense. Horace chuckles, nudging him playfully. Oh yeah? Prove it. With a flick of his wrists, he tosses a Pokeball into the air. Meganium, let's go! In a flash of light, his once small Bayleaf emerges, now a towering, majestic Meganium, its petals swaying gently. Go doesn't hesitate. Alright then, Cinderace, you're up. His partner bursts forward in a streak of flames, landing with an athlete's grace, its powerful legs coiled and ready. The two Pokemon lock eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. Old rivals, now stronger than ever. Looks like we've both come a long way, Horace remarks, crossing his arms. But I bet Meganium's got Cinderace beat in a straight battle. Go smirks. Keep dreaming. Cinderace's Pyro Ball doesn't miss. Before their friendly rivalry can escalate, a sharp ping cuts through the air. Both of their phones light up simultaneously, their screens splitting to reveal stern faces of both Looker and Nanu. Looker's usual disheveled appearance is even more frazzled than usual, while Nanu lounges lazily in the background, though his sharp eyes betray his usual indifference. Listen up, you two, Looker barks, his voice urgent. We've got intel on an abandoned facility outside Geosense Town, former Lysander Labs. There's been suspicious activity, and we need you two to investigate. Secure anything of valuable inside. Go frowns. What exactly counts as valuable? Nanu nods, but there's an edge to his tone. If it looks like it shouldn't be there, or if it's shining enough to blind you, grab it and call us. Simple. Looker leans in, his expression grave. This is a joint Interpol and Project Mu operation. It takes priority over anything else. Understood? The two young trainers exchange a glance before nodding firmly. Understood, they say in unison. The call then abruptly ends, leaving only a faint hum of static in its wake. For a moment, silence lingers. Then Horace breaks it with a wide grin. Well, this just got interesting. A real Interpol mission. Must be important if they're sending us. He claps Go on the shoulder. Glad you're here for this. Wouldn't want anyone else to watch my back. Go exhales, a mix of nerves and excitement, butting his chest. Yeah, well don't expect me to go easy just because it's my first official mission as a chaser. Horus laughs. I wouldn't dream of it. Now, come on, let's see what's hiding in that lab. With their Pokemon at their sides, the two prepare themselves for the weight of the mission that is settling over them. Whatever awaits in Geosyn's Town, one thing is certain. It won't be boring. As Go prepares for his first official mission with Project Mew, we move over to the eastern part of Kalos. The sun hangs low over the jagged cliffs outside of Anastar City, casting lone shadows across the rocky terrain as Looker and Nanu trudge forward, their boots kicking up dust with each determined step. The rocket drives hum faintly in Looker's hand, its screen pulsating with coordinates, a location once deemed critical by Giovanni himself. Nanu squints at the horizon, his usual lazy demeanor sharpened by suspicion. So, Nanu draws, shoving his hands into his coat pocket, what's so special about this wasteland, aside from the great view and the lack of decent coffee? Looker adjusts his collar, his expression grim. This is where Lysander made his final stand, he exclaims in a low voice. A few years back, he lost himself to madness, tapping into the power of Zygarde and an ancient stone, believed to be the world's first keystone. Nanu raises an eyebrow. A keystone? You mean like the ones used for Mega Evolution? Not just any keystone, Looker corrects. This one was different. It wasn't just a tool. It was alive, sentient. And when Lysander's ambitions spiraled out of control, the stone reacted. It turned against Kalos, nearly tearing the region apart. A cold wind whistles through the canyon, carrying the weight of the past. Nanu exhales sharply. So what? They just left the thing here after all of that? Looker nods. After the battle, Zygarde itself shattered the stone, scattering its fragments across the site. The decision was to bury them here, to let them fade into legend. He then pauses and his jaw tightens. But Giovanni didn't believe in leaving power behind. He had been planning to dig it all back up. Nanu's lips twist in a scowl. Of course he was. He kicks a loose rock, sending it skidding down a path. Then we better move fast. If a lunatic like him gets his hands on a weapon like that, we may already be too late, Looker interrupts, his gaze fixed on the rocket drive as it flickers with an incoming alert. Our latest intel suggests someone's already here. Nanu's hands drift towards the Pokeball in his belt. Recon only, huh, he mutters. Fine, but if we run into trouble, I'm not playing nice. Looker doesn't argue. Some secrets were meant to stay buried, but in the shadows ahead, something stirs, and whether it's Team Rocket or something far worse, they're about to find out who else is hunting the remnants of a forgotten power. With Interpol and Project Mew officially working together, we switch over to the seas of North Kalos. A small boat cuts through the choppy waves, its engine groaning under the strain as Ash grips the railing, Pikachu clinging to his shoulder. Beside him, Lucario uses the railing to brace itself as the deck rocks while Chloe clutches the side, her face pale. The sky, once clear, now churns with dark, ominous clouds, and the ocean roars beneath them, sending sprays of salt water over the bow. This isn't normal, is it? Ash shouts over the howling wind, his voice nearly swallowed by the storm. Karina shakes her head, her usual confidence flickering. Never seen it like this before. The island's always been peaceful. Only Pokemon capable of Mega Evolution live here. That's why barely anyone comes. Ash narrows his eyes, sensing something deeper. Lucario, can you see anything? The Aura Pokemon closes his eyes, his paws glowing with blue as he reaches out over the aura. The moment he does, his body tenses. The island's aura is in turmoil, a violent clash of energies. A deep, unsettling red bleeds into the natural blues life force of the land, while a third radiant rainbow pulse fights back from somewhere deep within. It's chaos, Lucario growls. The aura is corrupted, and there are others here. People. I can't tell if they're friend or foe, but they're not from this island. They're searching for something. Ash's stomach tightens. He felt this before, this kind of unnatural disturbance. Karina, something's wrong. There are intruders. Her expression then darkens. That's impossible. No one should be here. With a sharp turn, she revs the engine, pushing the boat to its limit. Hold on. We're getting to the island now. But the ocean has other plans. A monstrous swell rises before them, a wall of water taller than the mast, and then crash. A Mega Gyarados erupts from the depths, its jagged maw slamming into the hull, splintering the boat in two. Pidgeot, I choose you! Lucario, return! Ash yells, recalling him as Pidgeot bursts forth in a flash of light. The great bird swoops down, its talons outstretched, snatching Ash, Pikachu, Chloe, and Karina from the wreckage just as the waves crash down, swallowing the boat. Karina clutches Pidgeot's feathers, breathless. This isn't just bad luck. Something's causing this. Ash grits his teeth. Pidgeot, full speed to the island, he commands. With a mighty cry, Pidgeot surges forward, but the storm fights back. Gale Force winds tear at its wings, rain pellets like needles, and below, rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon lash out, a Mega Sharpedo's Hydro Pump barely missing them, while a snowy Mega Abomasnow hurls Ice Shard from a distant outcropping. They're attacking anything that moves, Chloe says. Ash's mind races. This isn't just a storm, this is a battlefield, and whatever or whoever is on that island, they're at the heart of it. With things turning south in the seas of Kalos, we shift east to Anastar City. The air hums with an eerie tension, the ancient sundial casting long, forbidding shadows as Olympia stumbles out of her latest vision, her breath ragged, and her fingers trembling with fear. The images still burned behind her eyes, the sky split open, the earth crumbling, Kalos swallowed by an all-consuming darkness. But this time, it isn't Lysander's madness that fuels this destruction. No, this is something else. Someone else. A figure, shrouded in shadows, standing at the heart of the ruin, whispering of making the world whole. The word sends a chill down her spine. She knows this presence. The beast of her nightmares. The one even Zygarde couldn't fully erase. Gasping, Olympia lurches forward, her voice a desperate whisper as she reaches for a communicator. Diantha! Diantha! Answer me! The line crackles, but there's no time to waste. The vision was too clear. The storm is coming. Meanwhile, on the other side of Anastar City, the grand entrance hall of the upcoming Pokemon Showcase gleams under the afternoon sun. Banners flutter in the breeze. There stands Serena before it, her chest rising and falling with a slow, steady breath. The weight of the competition presses on her shoulder, but she refuses to buckle. With a flick of her wrist, she releases her team, Pancham, Delphox, and Sylveon, each one radiating determination. Alright team, she says, her voice firm but warm. We've got less than a day to make this performance perfect. No holding back. Pancham grins, cracking its knuckles, while Sylveon twirls with a playful chirp. Delphox meets Serena's gaze, her wand glowing faintly. A silent promise. They've come too far to falter now. However, not all are in the same optimistic mood as Serena is. Far from the city's glittering lights, deep in the overgrown ruins of the former Lysander labs, Go kicks aside a broken piece of machinery, frustration tightening his jaw. This is pointless, he mutters, shoving his hands into his pockets. This place has been picked clean for years. If there was anything important here, it's long gone. Horus, undeterred, flips through a holographic map projected from his device. Looker didn't send us here for nothing, he counters, shooting Go a sidelong glance. You've only been a chaser for a few weeks. Trust me, when he says dig deeper, you dig. Go scoffs. Yeah, well, we've been digging for an hour, and we haven't found anything besides rust and dust. But as if the universe itself is mocking him, Horus suddenly stops, his eyes widening. Go look. Ahead, hidden behind a collapsed wall, is a doorway, not on any map, and from within, an eerie green glow pulses, like the slow, steady heartbeat of something ancient. Something's alive, and Go gasps. Okay, that's not on the map. Horus smirks, adjusting his gloves. Told you, Looker's never wrong. The two exchange a glance before stepping forward, the glow swallowing them whole. Whatever lies beyond the door, it's about to change everything. As Go and Horus face whatever surprises await them at Lysander's labs, we flash over to the mysterious island, where Ash, Chloe, Pikachu, and Karina land with a soft thud. Ash recalls Pidgeot with a grateful smile, patting its ball. Thanks for the quick ride, Pidgeot. We couldn't have made it here without you. Pikachu chirps in agreement. Without wasting a second, Ash and Karina exchange determined glances before simultaneously releasing their Lucario in twin flashes of blue light. The two aura-sensitive Pokemon land gracefully, their eyes sharp and focused. Lucario, scan the island, Ash commands, his voice steady. We need to find whoever's here. Fast. Karina nods, crossing her arms. Same goes for you, Lucario. Let's make this quick. The two Lucarios close their eyes, their paws glowing faintly as they reach out with their aura senses. Within moments, the two lock on to the presence of the humans, several of them gathered on the eastern side of the island. But Ash's Lucario suddenly stiffens, its ears twitching. Something else has caught its attention. Something powerful. Its aura vision flares with vivid colors, revealing two distinct rainbow-hued energies pulsating across the island. One lingers near the humans, but the other calls to it from the west, resonating deep within its very being. Ash stands stoic as a strange sensation ripples through him, his bond with Lucario, letting him feel the pull as well. Whoa, Lucario, what was that? Karina's eyes widen in realization. That was a Megastone, she murmurs. Your Lucario's Megastone. It's calling to it. Ash's Lucario turns to him, its red eyes burning with quiet intensity. Pikachu hops onto Ash's shoulder, sensing the urgency. We gotta go get it, don't we? Ash says, more to himself than anyone else. Karina hesitates, biting her lip. She knows they need to investigate the humans, but she also understands the raw, undeniable pull of a Megastone. With a reluctant sigh, she nods. Go. If Lucario doesn't answer that call now, he won't be any help to us later. But hurry. We don't know what we're dealing with here. Chloe steps forward, her Eevee nuzzling against her leg. Be careful, Ash, she says, her voice laced with concern. We'll handle things on this side. Ash flashes her a confident grin. Don't worry, Chloe. We'll be back before you know it. Come on, Lucario. Pikachu, let's move. With that, the trio take off, sprinting toward the western edge of the island, where destiny and power await. As they disappear into the dense foliage, Karina turns to Chloe, her expression tight with unspoken worry. Guess we'd better get going too, she mutters before raising her voice. Lucario, lead the way to those humans. Her Lucario barks in affirmation before darting forward, its aura senses locked on to the group ahead. Karina and Chloe follow closely behind, Eevee keeping pace with the determined Yip. But as they move, Karina's mind races. She can't shake the gnawing suspicion in her gut. The fear that these people aren't explorers or researchers. Please don't let them be here for what I think they're here for, she thinks to herself with a sarcastic tone. If they're after the same thing Lucario sensed, then I think I know where my grandfather is. With Ash now split from Chloe and Karina, we shift back to East Kalos. The sun hangs low over the jagged cliffs outside Anistar City, casting long shadows across the rocky terrain as Looker and Nanu crouch low, their eyes fixated on the scene unfolding below. The air hums with the mechanical growl of heavy machinery. Massive augers churn into the earth, their steel teeth gnawing through layers of soil and stone. The two Interpol agents had abandoned their car miles back, opting for a grueling long day's trek on foot to avoid detection. Now perched on the cliff's edge, they watch in silence, the wind whipping at their coats. Nanu shifts, his sharp gaze narrowing as he studies the sleek, futuristic design of the excavators. Those don't look like your average digging rig, he mutters in a low-toned voice. Too advanced, too purpose-built. Looker nods, his fingers tightening around his binoculars. They would have to be, he replies, his tone grim. What they're after. It isn't just ore or oil. Then, a faint shimmer catches his eye, a glint of light bouncing off one of the machines, but he dismisses it, too focused on the operations below. Then, Nanu stiffens. Hey, that symbol on the side of that auger. Doesn't it look familiar to you? Looker adjusts his focus, and when the insignia comes into view, his breath staggers. A sharp, geometric pattern. A logo known all too well. Before he can speak, Nanu jerks his chin towards a figure moving between the workers. And tell me I'm seeing things. Is that DIDNT, the champion of Kalos? What is she doing here? Looker's stomach drops as he spots her, elegant, composed, overseeing the excavations with quiet authority. This just got a lot more complicated, he murmurs, his mind racing in the background. Nanu exhales sharply. Alright, theories. Now, because none of this adds up, he then rubs his temple, frustration creeping into his voice. That symbol, I know I've seen it before, but... Macros Cosmos, Looker cuts in, the name heavy on his tongue. Rose's company, Galar's Shadow Empire. Nanu's eyes widen. Wait, the same Rose that we chased down after Moan vanished from the Crown Tundra? Looker's jaw tightens as he gives a slow nod. The very same. The memory burns, tracking Moan's last known movements, the dead ends, the whispers of Rose's involvement, and then the worst part, facing Lusamine without nothing but suspicions and empty hands. We had no proof, he says quietly, just gut instinct. And after we told her, she shut down, pulled away from everything. Her kids, the Aether Foundation. Nanu's expression darkens a bit. You ever tell her that we traced Moan back to Galar? Looker questions. No, Nanu admits after a beat. The trail went cold. Figured it just hurt her more if she knew we got close, and still failed. Looker exhales deeply, his shoulders sagging. You made the right call. For a long moment, they watch the machines roar below, the earth splitting under their relentless assault. Then Nanu tilts his head. So, are we getting involved, or are we just playing spectators? Looker's lips thin in a determined line. We watch. For now. His grip tightening on the binoculars. Because if Rose is digging here, if DIDNT is involved, this might be the lead we've waited years for. And so, Nanu just leans back and watches the two remaining silent sentinels on the cliffside as the augers plunge deeper, unearthing secrets buried far beneath the soil, and, just maybe, the truth that they've been hunting all along. With the hopes of an investigation renewed, we follow up with Ash, Lucario, and Pikachu pushing forward, their breaths steady but anticipation thick in the air. The towering spire looms ahead, its jagged peak piercing the sky. Lucario can feel the Lucario Knight's pulse, a rhythmic hum syncing with its own aura. The closer they get, the stronger the pull, like a magnet drawing them in. But then... crack. The earth beneath them begins to split open, and crimson vines erupt like serpents, writhing their unnatural hunger. Their jagged tips twist towards the pulsating stones, sensing Lucario's intent. Look out, Ash yells as the vines lash forward, aiming straight for them. Pikachu leaps into action, a bolt of lightning scorching through the air, but the roots recoil only for a second before surging again, multiplying, spreading like a living wildfire. They're after the Lucario Knights, Lucario growls, dodging a whip-like tendril. Its paws glow blue as it smashes through another vine. But for every one destroyed, two more take its place. Ash grits his teeth. They need a plan. Pikachu, keep them distracted, Ash commands. The mouse nods, darting forward between the vines, drawing their fury. Now, Lucario, go for the spire! With a mighty leap, Lucario rockets forward, its fists igniting with silver blaze of meteor mash. The vines twist, trying to intercept, but Lucario barrels through them, shattering the spire's peak, an explosion of rock and dust. The Lucario Knight tumbles free, its glow intensifying, calling the fighting type. Grab it, Lucario, Ash yells, already pulling on Sir Aaron's gloves. The keystone embedded in the gauntlet flares to life as Lucario snatches the stone midair, dodging another vine with the flip. The moment their auras connect, boom! A shockwave of power erupts, blasting the vines back in a storm of blue energy. Lucario's form shifts, muscles surging, aura flaring like a wildfire. Then the light fades, and Mega Lucario stands tall, its presence radiating raw power. Whoa, Ash breathes, his eyes widening, and Pikachu grins. But the battle isn't over. The roots writhe, regrouping at the base. Mega Lucario doesn't hesitate. Its paws ignite, forming a colossal aurasphere, swirling with energy. With a roar, it hurls the attack downward, the explosion shaking the earth and obliterating the vines in a blinding light. As the dust settles, Lucario lands before Ash, its transformation fading. For a moment, silence. Then, a voice, faint but unmistakable. Well done, my friend. Lucario's breath stops. Sir Aaron? The words wrap around him like the wind, warm and proud. A smile tugs at Lucario's muzzle as he gazes skyward, but Ash's urgent voice snaps him back. We gotta move. Karina and Chloe might need us. No time to linger. With a shared nod, the trio take off, sprinting towards the eastern cliffs, the weight of their victory, and the fight still ahead, pushing them faster. As the aura of Ash and Lucario burns brighter than ever, the scene shifts to the dim, flickering glow of the underground chambers as they cast eerie shadows along the walls as Horace and Go descend the final steps, their footsteps echoing softly against the cold stone. The air is thick with unnatural energy, the source of which becoming clearer with every step, a pulsating green crystal, small but radiant, humming with the power as it sits hooked up to a complex array of computers and monitoring equipment. Wires snake across the floor, connecting to machines that whir and beep, their screens flashing with data neither of them can immediately decipher. Ghost squints, stepping closer. This doesn't look like any kind of Pokemon energy I've seen before, he murmurs, his voice hushed but tense. Horace looks over the screen, studying the setup with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. It's almost like they're measuring it, he says, reaching for the keyboard. If I can pull the logs. His fingers barely graze the keys when suddenly vicious hissings cut through the silence. From the shadows, a sleek feline form lunges. Perugli's massive body slams between them and the console, its yellow eyes gleaming with malice. Both boys stagger back, hearts pounding as the Pokemon snarls, its claws digging into the metal flooring. Then a voice, cold, commanding, rings out. I don't know who you two are, the woman says, stepping into the sickly green light, her crimson hair prim and proper, her uniform emblazoned with an unmistakable ominous G. But you won't be leaving here. Who are you, Go demands. Horace's jaw tightens a bit. This has to be what Looker was talking about. The redhead smirks, crossing her arms, as Perugly lets out a low, rumbling growl. Oh, so you're with him, she muses, her tone dripping in disdain. That meddling Interpol fool should have known better than to send children to do his work. Go clenches his fists, adrenaline surging. We're not just kids, he snaps, and whatever you're doing with that crystal, it ends now. The redhead laughs, a sharp, mocking sound. Bold words. Let's see if your Pokemon can back them up. The room crackles with tension as Perugly crouches, ready to strike. Horace and Go share a glance. There's no turning back now, they say to themselves. With an enemy that neither Go nor Horace have ever seen before in their midst, we follow up with Karina and Chloe. The dense forest trembles as another earth-shaking explosion ripples through the sky, sending plumes of smoke spiraling upward. Karina and Chloe crouch low behind Lucario, the rest shallow, as the ground beneath them trembles. The scent of burning wood and charred earth fills the air, mixing with the metallic tang of something far more sinister. What is going on down there? Chloe whispers, her fingers tightening around Yuvi's fur as the tiny Pokemon shivers against her chest. Karina doesn't answer. Her sharp eyes scan the chaos below, darting past the billowing flames, searching for something. No, someone. Lucario's ears twitch, sensing the erratic auras clashing violently in the valley. Then, with a deafening roar, a Charizard bursts through the smoke, its wings slicing through the haze as it unleashes a blistering flamethrower back into the inferno. Look, Chloe gasps as a second Charizard emerges, wreathed in flames, before slamming into the first with a devastating Dragon Claw. The impact sends the two dragons spiraling downwards, crashing into the earth with a thunderous boom. Chloe, stay close, Karina mutters, still scanning the battlefield. But what is this? Some kind of battle? Chloe presses her voice, raising an alarm. Before Karina can respond, a shadowy flicker at the edge of the valley, a ripple in the air, unnatural and swift. Then, a psychic pulse that distorts the very light around it. A Mega Alakazam materializes, its spoons glowing with deadly energy. In an instant, it strikes, hurling both Charizards into the ground with a devastating psychic assault. Get up, two voices shout in unison from below. Karina's head snaps towards the sound. There, standing defiantly amidst the wreckage, are two trainers, one with sharp, calculating eyes, the other radiating fiery determination. No way, Karina shudders, recognition flashing across her face. Alon? Without another word, she leaps onto her feet. We need to get down there now. Lucario doesn't hesitate, darting forward as Karina and Chloe sprint after it. The battle rages on below. Alon, and the other trainer that we now know as Kiawe, once locked in their own fierce rivalry, now barking orders in perfect sync as their Charizards rise again. Wings beating in unison. We can't take it down alone, Kiawe shouts over the roaring flames. Alon grits his teeth. Then we do it together. The Charizards let out a roar before surging forward, weaving through Alakazam's psychic onslaught. But they aren't aiming for the Pokemon itself. No, their claws stretch outward, the two radiant stones levitating above it, one pulsating with rainbow light and the other burning with a fiery aura. Now, Alon commands. With a final coordinated strike, the Charizard snatch the stones from the air, their talons closing in tight, just as Mega Alakazam is blasted backwards, slamming into the earth with a force that sends dust flying. Then, silence, brief and heavy, settles over the valley. But from the smoke, a robed figure steps forward, his long beard swaying as he chuckles. Well done, truly. His voice is deep, weathered. You've proven that strength isn't just in power, but in trust. Alon and Kiawe exchange glances, the stones glowing in their Charizard's grips. But before the old man can continue, Karina's voice cuts through like a whip. Grandpa? The man stiffens, his shoulders hunching as he braces for impact. Slowly he turns, only for Karina to storm forward, her face flushed with fury. What did I tell you about vanishing for weeks? About pulling these ridiculous tests without telling anyone? With a speechless laugh, the man yanks off his disguise, revealing the familiar wrinkled face of Gherkin, Karina's grandfather, and the former Mega Evolution guru. Ah, my dear, I was just worrying me half to death, Karina snaps, her hands on her hips. Do you have any idea how many nights I spent up thinking you were? Chloe, Alon, and Kiawe can only watch, utterly bewildered. Then a rustle and a shift in the wind that stops everyone. From the ridge above, a new figure emerges. Ash and Pikachu. Beside him, Lucario stands poised, its aura flaring. Time stops. Ash's eyes lock onto Alon, then Kiawe. Then their Charizards. No one moves. No one speaks. The air itself feels charged, thick with unspoken history. Rivalries reignited, and battles unfinished. With answers to questions Ash has had for some time now about to be found, we shift the tension back over to Horus and Go, standing back to back, surrounded by a sea of Team Galactic grunts. The air hums with low mechanical rear of the facility's machinery, but the real threat stands before them. The redhead introduces herself as Mars, her sharp grin cutting through the dim light like a knife. Horus's eyes narrow, trying to place the strange insignias on their uniforms. You're with Team Flare, he demands, his voice edged with suspicion. Here to carry on Lysander's messed up legacy? Mars throws her head back and laughs, the sound sharp and mocking. Lysander, she sneers, her voice dripping with disdain. That fool only wanted to destroy life. Pathetic. My leader, our leader, sought to master creation itself. Her crimson eyes flash with fervor as she steps forward, her Purugly slinking at her heels. Don't you dare compare us to those incompetent fools in Team Flare. We are Team Galactic, and we will reclaim our glory. Go leans forward towards Horus, whispering out of the corner of his mouth. This lady seems completely off her rocker. Horus doesn't take his eyes off Mars. Yeah, no kidding, he mutters back. Mars flicks her wrist dismissively. Enough chatter. You two aren't leaving, so you might as well get comfortable. She raises a hand, and Purugly muzzles coil, ready to pounce. But Horus smirks. See, here's the thing. After months of working with Looker and Lance, I always have a backup plan. On cue, two thick vines snap from within the shadows, wrapping around Purugly mid-leap before slamming it into a wall with a sickening thud. Mars' smirk vanishes, replaced by shock as her grunts stagger back. Before they can react, Cinderace launches a blazing pyroball straight through the facility's main computer console. Sparks erupt, screens shatter, and alarms blare as Golbats of the grunts screech into action. But they're not fast enough. Two pairs of glowing eyes pierce the chaos from behind Horus and Go. A surge of psychic energy freezes the Golbats mid-air, their wings locked in place by Gardevoir's power. At this time, Golurk's ghostly energy pulsates through the room, sending several grunts stumbling back in terror. Horus exhales, adrenaline coursing through him. For a moment, it feels like they turn the tide and assume control. But then, a hissing sound fills the air. A thick, purple gas begins to seep from the vents, curling around their ankles before rising in choking waves. Go coughs violently, doubling over, and Horus's vision blurs. Their Pokemon are wheezing, staggering. Cinderace's flames sputter, and Meganium's vines go slack. From the stairwell, slow, deliberate footsteps echo. Jupiter, Mars says, her voice tight. Finally, you're late. Jupiter steps into the flickering light, her skunk tank prowling beside her. She surveys the scene with cold amusement. I saw these rats heading in, she drawls. Thought I'd hang back and see what they'd do. Her lips curl into a smirk. Good thing, too. Looks like you couldn't handle them. Mars's face darkens a bit. Excuse me? I had everything under control until... Jupiter waves her hand. Save it. We've got bigger. But before she could finish the sentence, a deafening screech from the ruined computers cuts her off. The screens flicker madly before a robotic voice booms through the speakers. Warning. Facility compromised. Self-destruct sequence initiated. The room plunges into red light as steel shutters clang down over every exit. A timer flashes on the screen. 5, 4, 59, 4, 58. Horus' stomach drops. Go's voice is hoarse from the gas. Guys... For the first time, fear flickers across Mars and Jupiter's face. The grunts panic, slamming fists against the steel doors. They're all trapped, and the clock is ticking. With the bright future in front of them, we shift back to the tension on the island as Ash, Alon, and Kiawe stand facing each other, the air crackling with unspoken rivalry. Alon's sharp gaze locks onto Ash's, his posture rigid, until a grin breaks across his face, dissolving the tension instantly. Alon, Ash shouts, sprinting down into the valley with Pikachu and Lucario at his heels. I can't believe you're here. Alon chuckles, crossing his arms. Looks like we keep running into each other in the most unexpected places, Ash. But Ash's attention quickly shifts to Kiawe, his expression turning serious. Kiawe, where have you been? After you lost to Rinto, you just disappeared. Kiawe exhales, his grip tightening around the Pokeball on his belt. I had to leave Alola, he admits, his voice steady but heavy with resolve. I finally understood what you and my grandfather always tried to teach me. If I want to be the next Kahuna of Akala Island, I had to get stronger, not just as a trainer, but as a person. From his pocket, he pulls out a gleaming Charizardite, holding it up into the sunlight. My grandfather left me this before he passed, but in Alola, there are no keystones, so I came here to Kalos to find one. Kiawe's Charizard lets out a low growl of agreement, flames flickering at the corners of its mouth. Alon nods, his own keystone glinting in his wrist. Same for me. I've been searching for another Charizardite for over a year, with no luck. But I did find this. He then taps the stone, then scowls. But then we heard about the island, and got ambushed by that crazy old man with his Alakazam. Just then, Karina, Chloe, and Gherkin rush over. Karina doesn't hesitate. She smacks her grandfather on the back of the head. You lied to me, she snaps. You scared everyone half to death. Gherkin rubs his head sheepishly. My apologies. I may have gotten a bit carried away. Karina huffs, then notices the Megastone in Lucario's paw. Her eyes light up. Ash, you found it. Lucario lets out a loud, proud bark, flexing its claws as the stone pulses with energy. A spark ignites between the four trainers, Ash, Alon, Kiawe, and Karina. Their gazes locking in silent challenge. Battle? Alon smirks. Absolutely, Ash grins. You're on, Kiawe agrees. Try to keep up, Karina taunts. Chloe blinks. How is this going to work? There's 4 of you. Ash just laughs. Lucario and I don't mind taking on all of you. Gherkin clears his throat. Perhaps a tag battle would be more structurally sound. The idea clicks instantly. Ash and Karina versus Alon and Kiawe, Karina declares. 1 round. Mega Pokemon only. The 4 take their positions, fascinating their Mega Stones. Charizardite for Kiawe and Alon. Lucario Knight for Karina and Ash. Then Ash pulls out Sir Aaron's gloves, slipping them on. A sudden pulse of aura erupts between him and Lucario, their connection flaring to life. The world shifts, colors bleed into energy, revealing the island's hidden auras. 3 distinct forces swirl beneath them, the radiant glow of hidden Megastones throughout the island. A pinkish rainbow aura buried deep beneath the earth right below them, and a sinister red energy writhing like the vines from before. Lucario's voice echoes in Ash's mind. This red aura, it feels like the ones from before, but weaker, incomplete, like it's searching for something. Ash, Alon yells, his sharp voice snapping him back. Are you zoning out on us? Ash shakes his head, exchanging a glance with Lucario. We're good. Just felt the power for the first time. Alon smirks. Then focus, or you'll lose like last time. Ash grins. Not happening. Karina rolls her shoulders. Enough chatter. With a flash, her keystone activates, and her Lucario Mega Evolves into a burst of light. That's all the signal they need. Mega Evolve, they all yell. The air shatters with energy as the 4 transformations erupt. Ash's Lucario, Alon's Charizard, Kiawe's Charizard, and Karina's Lucario, their forms shifting to their ultimate states. Kiawe blinks at the difference between the 2 Charizards. Wait, why do they look? Different Megastones, different forms, Alon explains. Your boosts fire. Mine becomes a dragon. Kiawe's eyes gleam. Perfect. Chloe and Gherkin scramble back as the battle explodes into motion. Flames, aura spheres, and dragon claws colliding in a storm of power. But there's a clear gap. Ash and Alon's bond with their Pokemon is raw, refined by years of battling, while Kiawe and Karina struggle to keep up, strangely enough. Yet neither back down, pushing their limits in a clash of pure force. But then, disaster. A final collision triggers a massive explosion, the ground splitting apart beneath them. Everyone move, Gherkin shouts as the earth caves in, swallowing the battlefield whole. When the dust settles, they are left staring into a gaping crater, and at the bottom, something massive, rainbow-colored, half buried in the rubble. Ash thinks to himself, I've seen this before. Then movement. Vines, red and pulsating, erupt from the ground, lashing towards the mysterious object. Gherkin pales. No. If the vines are here, then that thing's power is what they are after, Alon snarls. Ash doesn't hesitate. Lucario, stop them! The battle isn't over. It's just beginning. With the mega battle stopped dead in its tracks, we shift over to the tension in the sealed room. It's suffocating as the blurring countdown echoes from the reinforced walls, each passing second tightening the noose around Team Galactic and their unexpected captives, Go and Horus. The Galactic grunts, usually disciplined under Mars and Jupiter's command, have devolved into frantic chaos, slamming their bodies against the armored doors, clawing at the walls, even hurling their Pokemon at the barriers in desperate futile attempts to escape. "We're gonna die here," one grunt shrieks, their voice crackling under the weight of the impending doom. Another slumps against the wall, muttering prayers to Arceus underneath his breath. Mars, her crimson eyes blazing with fury, whirls on Jupiter. "This is your fault. If you hadn't insisted on splitting up," Jupiter scoffs, tossing her lavender hair back. "My fault. You're the one who triggered the security lockdown." Amid the panic, Go and Horus exchange a tense glance. "We could help," Go offers, stepping forward, but Mars immediately rounds on him, her voice a venomous hiss. "Stay out of this, brat. This is galactic business." Horus folds his arms, unimpressed. "Fine. Enjoy exploding, then." Jupiter, however, pinches the bridge of her nose. "Enough. We don't have time for this." She gestures sharply at the boys. "If you guys can get us out of here, then do it. But one wrong move, and you'll regret it." The two spring into action. Go's Dragonite roars as it slams its massive fists into the doors, while Gurlek charges its arm cannons, unleashing devastating shadow punches. The walls shudder, but the reinforced plating holds firm. Not even a dent. Mars's patience snaps. "Useless," she snarls, whirling on Go. "This is your fault for interfering in the first place." Go's fists clench. "We wouldn't have been here if you hadn't attacked us," the boy yells. Horus and Jupiter can only watch, stunned, as the two scream at each other like children. "Unbelievable," Horus mutters. "They're arguing while we're all about to die." Jupiter's voice drops to a bitter murmur. "I knew we shouldn't have let Charon go off with Saturn. We needed him here." As if summoned by her regret, the countdown suddenly halts, replaced by a cackling intercom. A dry, mocking chuckle fills the room. "Mars, Mars, Mars," Charon's voice drips with amusement. "Still haven't learned to ask nicely, have you?" Mars's face twists in rage. "Charon, let us out, right now!" The old scientist hiss. "Such manners. No wonder you're in this predicament." Jupiter cuts in, her voice sharp. "Enough games. We have the stone, but if we don't get out of here now, it's over." "The Master." Charon hums, feigning disinterest. "Ah, yes, the Master. What if I don't want him back?" The countdown then resumes. 5, 4, 3, then silence. The room holds its breath, eyes squeezed shut, bodies tense. Then a deafening click. The doors slide open. Standing there, flanked by an army of smirking grunts, is Charon, his wrinkled face alight with cruel delight. "Oh, the looks on your faces," he croons. "Priceless." Mars lunges forward, but Jupiter grabs her arm. "Later. We have what we came for." Charon waves a hand, and the grunts swarm in, seizing the stone and clamping electric collars around Go, Horus, and their Pokemon. "Try to follow," Charon muses, "and these will deliver a shocking consequence." Horus, ever defiant, bolts, only to shriek as electricity wrecks his body, sending him crashing to the floor unconscious. Go suddenly freezes, his eyes wide in terror as Horus twitches in pain. Charon sighs in a mocking disappointment. "I warned you." His gaze then shifts to Go, challenging. "What about you, boy? Feeling brave?" Go's throat tightens. He can't move. Mars barks, "Charon, hurry up." With a final chuckle, the old man turns, vanishing up the stairs with the grunts and the glowing stone. Jupiter shoots him a glare. "You're insufferable." And then silence. Go stands there, trembling as the last of Team Galactic glow fades. At his feet, Horus lies unconscious, the stench of burning air lingering. Alone, trapped, and defeated. With Go safe but broken, we shift back to the island. The battle is on. The air is thick with tension and the relentless thrashing of the monstrous vines. Ash, Karina, Kiawe, Alon, Gherkin, and Chloe stand their ground, their Pokemon unleashing a barrage of attacks to hold back the wraithing tendrils. Flames erupt from Kiawe's Charizard, searing through the vines, while Alon's Charizard swoop low, claws glowing with draconic fury. Yet, no matter how many they sever, more surge forward, their crimson aura pulsing with the natural energy. "We can't keep this up forever," Karina shouts, her Lucario darting between strikes, fists blazing with power-up punches. "We have to find the source." Ash yells back, his eyes narrowing, as he and Lucario exchange a glance. The red glow of the vines snakes across the ground, a sinister trail leading back towards the ocean, towards Kalos. "They came from the mainland, under the sea." Gherkin, his face lined with unease, just sighs. "In all my years of studying this island, I've never seen anything like this. That thing in the sinkhole. If the vines absorb its energy, then it's game over." Alon finishes grimly, his fist clenching. Ash turns to Lucario, determination flashing in his eyes. "We need to find the core. It's buried somewhere, probably deep underground. If we take that out, then we can stop them for good." Lucario nods, closing his eyes as it extends its aura of senses, searching for the heart of the corruption. But after a tense moment, it shakes its head. "I can't locate it. The aura. It's everywhere. But the source isn't on the island, it seems like." "That's impossible," Ash mutters, frustration creeping into his voice. Then, a spark of realization. Wait. The sinkhole. "Lucario, hit it with an aura sphere." Without hesitation, Lucario summons a swirling sphere of blue energy and hurls it into the gaping pit. The explosion sends rubble flying, and beneath the shattering earth, thick, pulsating vines rayed like veins coiled around the buried object below. No way, Chloe gasps. They're rooted all the way at the base of the artifact, Kiawe growls. The group shifts tactics immediately, charging forward to rip the vines free, but the moment they strike, the tendrils retaliate with terrifying force, swelling in size, their thorns lashing like whips. A massive vine slams into the ground, nearly throwing Alon off balance. It's feeding off the object's power, Alon shouts. We need one big attack. Everything we've got, all at once. Right, Ash says, raising his fist. Now or never. In unison, their Pokemon unleash their strongest moves. Flamethrower, Aura Sphere, Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, all converging in a cataclysmic explosion. The blast shakes the island, a blinding light erupting into the sky, visible even from Shalor City. A shockwave tears through the air, sending debris and dust swirling in a suffocating cloud. For a moment, there's silence. Then, movement. The vines burst from the dust, thicker, angrier, lashing out with a renewed fury. It didn't work, Karina stumbles back, as Alakazam barely shields her with the psychic barrier. They're stronger now, Gurgen yells. With no other choice, Alon and Kiawe leap onto the back of their Charizard, soaring skyward, while Ash throws a Pokeball, Pidgeot swooping forward, allowing him, Chloe, and Pikachu to scramble onto its back just as the vines spear the ground they were just standing on. We can't get close enough, Alon snarls, watching helplessly as the vines creep toward the ocean edge. If they reach Kalos, Ash's stomach drops. The vines slither into the water, their glow staining the waves red. Around him, the others exchange grim looks, hope fading fast. But then, a heartbeat. Faint, distant. Lucario's ears twitch, its eyes widening. Ash, do you feel that? It says in the aura. Ash goes still. The pulse echoes through him, steady, alive. His heart is racing. It can't be. And then the island trembles, but not from the vines, from something beneath them, something powerful. The ground trembles more violently the moment the vines plunge deeper into the water. Then, without warning, colossal geysers erupt from beneath, blasting upwards with enough force to shred the encroaching tendrils into useless scraps. Their advance is halted, and then a grin splits across Ash's face, fierce and bright, hope surging back into his voice as he shouts just one word. Greninja! Like a shadow given form, Greninja materializes in a blur of motion, streaking across the battlefield with impossible speed. Air itself sharpens into blades, at its command, slicing through vines with surgical precision, while shimmering water shurikens whirl through the air, cutting down any threat in their path. Ash doesn't hesitate. He barks orders to Lucario and Pidgeot. Follow Greninja now! The trio rocket towards the heart of the chaos, the gaping crater where the vines writhe like wild serpents, surging from the depths. They land hard, and Ash's voice is warm, breathless with relief as he turns to the ninja Pokemon. Greninja, it's so good to see you. But Greninja doesn't respond with words. Its stance is coiled, its gaze locked onto the writhing masses of vines. It's here for one thing only. War. Alon's eyes widen in recognition. That's your Greninja, he calls over the chaos. Yeah, Ash confirms, pride ringing in his voice. Chloe gasps, hands flying across her mouth. This is the Pokemon you were talking about earlier? She exclaims, awestruck. Kiawe and Karina watch, stunned for different reasons. Kiawe by the sheer power on display, and Karina by the fluidity of Greninja's movements, a dance of destruction. Then, Ash's Lucario steps forward. Its aura sensor is flaring. It doesn't know this newcomer, but it feels something, an unbreakable thread of energy binding Ash and Greninja together, humming with intensity. Lucario, this is Greninja, Ash explains quickly. It can see the vines, just like you can see aura. It's perfect to help us stop this. Lucario's ears twitch, uncertainty flickering in his eyes, but there's no time to question. The vines react to Greninja's presence, surging with renewed aggression, lashing out like whips. Ash doesn't flinch. Pidgeot, get Chloe and Pikachu back into the air, he orders. I'm staying down here. The group tenses, except for Karina and Alon, who exchanged knowing glances. We've got your back, Alon says, Charizard's wings flaring. Do what you need to do. Lucario's fur bristles. Ash is putting himself in danger. As the vines spear towards Ash, Lucario snarls, an aura sphere igniting in its paws. But then it freezes. That feeling again. The same overwhelming presence it's sensed before. Ash's voice cuts through the noise. Alright, Greninja, you ready? And then it happens. A shockwave of power erupts, so potent that the air itself shatters. Water and energy spiral around Ash and Greninja in a furious maelstrom, and before the stunned eyes of everyone present, Greninja transforms. Its body shifts, elongating, its form mirroring Ash's stance, his determination, his very essence. This is what he meant, Chloe whispers. Greninja really is special. Alon's voice is sharp with awe. It's not just Mega Evolution, he says. It's something beyond. A Bond Evolution. In this form, Ash and Greninja aren't just partners. They're one. Lucario stands paralyzed. Its aura sense is overwhelmed. The power radiating from Ash Greninja is unreal. And then, in the blink of an eye, Greninja vanishes, moving faster than Lucario can track even with aura sight. Vines explode in fragments before anyone can even register the attack. Ash turns to Lucario, eyes blazing. We all have to work together, he shouts. This is our last shot, and with your aura, you can help Greninja. We stop this now. The command snaps Lucario out of its daze. The mission comes first. With a determined growl, it launches forward, struggling to master Greninja's impossible speed. When it finally catches up, their eyes meet just for an instant. Greninja's gaze is that of a warrior who has faced reversed and walked out stronger. Though not as ancient as Lucario, its experience is undeniable. And then Lucario sees it. The synchronicity. Every movement Ash makes Greninja mirrors. Every shift in stance. Every flick of the wrist. They move as if sharing a single mind. The distraction costs Lucario. A vine slams into its side, sending it skidding back, only for Greninja to flash in, slicing the attacker apart before fixing Lucario with a sharp look. Focus. I can't babysit you, it says. Then Greninja vanishes, and Ash yells, Lucario, keep moving, we're almost there. Above them, Karina's Lucario and the two Mega Charizards rain down covering fire, buying them time. Lucario grits its teeth, and then it feels it. Something new. A sensation it's never known before, but there's no time to dwell. Greninja is already at the core, a massive water shuriken forming above its palms. Not to be outdone, Lucario summons every ounce of power, an aura sphere swelling to colossal sizes between its palms. Now, Ash roars! The attacks land simultaneously, a cataclysmic collision of water and aura. The impact is deafening, light swallowing the world, as the vine's defenses shatter, the explosion dwarfing anything that came before. The battlefield falls silent, and for the first time, Lucario understands what true power, true bond, really means. As the smoke and the light fade, and the last remnants of the shattered vines crumble into dust, Lucario's Mega Evolution flickers and fades, its body trembling with exhaustion before it collapses to its knees, breathing heavily. Across from it, Greninja shifts back to its normal form, with effortless grace, its chest rising and falling in steady rhythm, as if the battle had been nothing more than a warm-up to it. Ash doesn't hesitate. He sprints forward, skidding to his knees beside Lucario, his hands hovering over his partner's battered form. Lucario, are you okay? He asks urgently. Lucario manages a weak nod, but its limbs shake with fatigue. Pidgeot then lands gracefully beside them, Chloe sliding off of its back as Pikachu leaps down with concern. Karina, Gherkin, Kiawe, and Alon rush over as well, their eyes scanning the battlefield. It looks like the vines are finally done for, Kiawe says, wiping sweat from his brow. Alon nods, crossing his arms. That core was tougher than expected. If it weren't for Greninja and Lucario, we'd still be fighting. Ash exhales in relief, turning to Greninja with a grateful smile. Thanks, Greninja. You too, Lucario. We couldn't have done it without both of you. Greninja gives a slight nod, its sharp eyes scanning the area, always alert. But then, something catches Ash's attention. A glint in the crater where the vine's cores once pulsated. The object that had been lodged deep within the earth now lies exposed, the surface glimmering despite the dust. A creeping sense of familiarity tugs at Ash's mind. His brow furrows as he steps closer and his eyes narrow. That looks like... But it can't be, he says under his breath. No way. That looks like a plate, one that belongs to... A deafening explosion rocks the island, cutting him off mid-sentence. The ground trembles as a massive transport carrier looms overhead, its underbelly opening to unleash a rain of destruction. Bombs plummet like falling stars, detonating in fiery bursts, sending plumes of smoke and debris spiraling into the air. Move, Alon shouts, grabbing Chloe and yanking her behind a shattered rock formation. Ash dives, shielding Pikachu as another explosion erupts nearby. The world becomes chaos, smoke, fire, the panic cries of Pokemon. Through the haze, shadowy figures descend from the carrier, their uniforms unmistakable. Team Galactic. Lucario growls, forcing itself to stand, but its legs buckle instantly. The other Pokemon are as drained as well. Only Pidgeot and Greninja remain ready to battle. Greninja doesn't wait. It lunges into the smoke, a blur of motion, striking out grunts before they can even register its presence. But then... thwack! A poison-laced fist slams into Greninja's side, sending it skidding across the battlefield. It grasps, clutching its ribs as Toxicroak leers down at it, venom dripping from its claw. And then that voice slithers through the smoke. How kind of you, Ash. The boy's blood runs cold. Commander Saturn steps forward, his smirk as sharp as a blade. We've been trying to free that plate for months. Those vines were quite the nuisance. He gestures lazily as the Galactic grunts swarm the crater, attaching cables to the plates. But thanks to your little battle, our mission is back on track. Ash grits his teeth. You. Saturn ignores him, however, tapping his communicator. Charon, status. Extraction complete, cackles the reply, returning to base. Saturn grins widen. Perfect. His thumb then hovers over a button on his wrist. Oh, one last thing. He then presses it. Then, the island erupts, dormant bombs detonating in a chain reaction. The ground splits, fire consuming everything in its path. Pidgeot now, Lucario says psychically as its cries echo in the bird's mind. Just as Ash stumbles back, another bomb beeps, right beneath him. The countdown flashes. 3, 2, Pidgeot screeches, diving toward him. The world whites out. Then, darkness. And this is where we are going to leave things for now. So tell me, How did you feel about this part and everything that happened? There was a lot to unpack here. How did you guys feel about the reintroduction of not only Kiawe, but Alon, as they were both on Mega Evolution Island, trying to find their respective stones that they needed for their Charizards to achieve their ultimate power? What about Lucario and its achievement of finally getting Mega Evolution? And let's not forget about the mysterious introduction of Team Galactic. What is the Sinnoh-based team doing here in Kalos? And why exactly were they after that plate that was buried on Mega Evolution Island? And let's not forget Looker and Nanu, and the revelation that they were on the track to track down Moan far before Lusamine managed to fall into her depression, and all of the events of Ultra Space that took place back in Alola. But their failure is what prompted that entire event. However, it looks like they might have gotten a second chance at an old case. Where exactly is that going to lead? And let's not forget about Horus and Go. They're both still in the bowels of Lysander Labs, recovering from the attack of Team Galactic. What is going to be in store from them when they have to report in to Looker and Nanu? Let me know your guys' thoughts, comments, and theories down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.